Hello, I'm Trent, aka oTradeMark here. Wanted to talk to you guys about the changes in Anime Fighters version 16. This is kind of just basically a little more detailed patch notes of kind of what was changed. First off, there was 2 new passive added to the game. One was Leader. Now there's Leader 1, 2, and 3, and that increases your damage multiplier by 0.05, 0.1, and 0.2 respectively. In-game text, it says 5, 10, and 20%, but that's not actually accurate because most of you are going to be above 1 damage multiplier already. So the gain that you actually get is less than 5, 10, or 20%. However, it's still an incredible passive. It's definitely going to be meta-defining, and depending on how the interactions work, I'm going to do a lot of testing to kind of figure out what the best setup is with leaders. Next up, we have the Ace passive. Now this gives you 100% crit rate, and a lot of people are misunderstanding this. This is not going to mean 100% damage increase. This doesn't mean that it's 2 times damage per second. The reason for that is all characters already have a base crit rate, so you're already including that into your damage per second. So going to 100% crit rate is not double damage. It's still a very good passive, but I need to do more detailed testing. My assumption is that the gain is going to be around 60 to 80%, and we'll kind of see based on the testing there though. Next up, a Giant was buffed. The damage multiplier was increased from 1.5x to 1.65x. Now this makes it the same damage multiplier as Tank. However, you're faster than Tank, and the aesthetic is really cool because you're now Giant. So Giant is exactly where it should be in my opinion. It is more rare than Tank, and it is a better passive now. So it's just, Tank is still good, it hasn't been nerfed or anything, but Giant is now better. Next up, Sorcerer 3 was buffed slightly. The fighter will now take 4 less hits to charge their ultimate, which is up from 3. This makes Sorcerer 3 objectively better than Tiny in every situation. Sorcerer 3 is slightly better. I still don't think it is meta per se. I will have to do some more testing on it. It will help, especially the higher attack count characters. But as I continually explain and people continually misunderstand, Sorcerer is not good on low attack count characters. Killua, Demon Asta, Demon Meliodas, all of these characters with 4 or less attacks to charge their ult are terrible with Sorcerer. Please don't use them. Next up, Defense Token was added to the wheel spin at a 1.5% chance. That's really cool. Hopefully you guys get lucky and get those because that's huge. That's 500 time trial shards that you get on a wheel spin if you get lucky enough to hit that. Next up, there were some upgrades added. Luck 9, so +1 luck for playing for 2.5k hours. That was added. There were also some other upgrades, damage 7 and damage 8. So those are for 5 million and 10 million stars opened. That will increase your damage multiplier. This one's kind of relevant because this means that we're going to be able to push to room 120 in time trials sooner than we had previously estimated. So these 2 are really important. And it should be interesting to see how soon we can now get room 120 with the additional damage. Next up, Crit 6, 5% crit chance added as an upgrade as well for defeating 500 raids. Next up, Extra Star 5, so reach room 140. That's not going to happen for a while, you can kind of ignore that one. Next up, bosses can't spawn with Tiny or Giant. This is really good news for people that were struggling to AFK with Tiny task. It means that you can go back to setting up your single location auto-clicker at Tiny tasks. And then finally, probably the only thing that I have that is not fun for this update, the Enchanted spawn rate has lowered. I'm estimating this to be about a 2% to a 1% decrease. So you're gonna see them about half as often, and it's gonna be much harder to AFK raid shard farm. Now, honestly, was probably needed because the AFKing raid shards was actually just vastly superior to doing raids themselves. So now Enchanted spawn rate has been lowered a bit. I understand why this was done, although it was nice to have a constant source of whatever raid shards that you wanted. They're still there. You're still going to be able to AFK raid shard farm. I still would recommend setting up your tiny tasks to do that. You're just not going to earn. You're going to earn about half as many shards from my initial estimates. It could be a little bit higher. It could be a little bit lower. But that is approximately what I would estimate on that. But that is about it. There might be a few things that I've actually missed on here. If I do miss something that was changed in version 16 of Anime Fighters, please leave a comment in the description letting people know. And that's it for me. Malo Alpito. Thanks for watching, and peace, amani.